Then what I think is an extremely important part of this process is to actually review your review. So instead of just filling it out and clicking submit, I recommend that you really sit back and take a look at it. It may be that if this is your first time or you're new to the proposal review process, you want to invite a peer or a mentor to help you review it. I think having a peer or a mentor review it is helpful for all of us, no matter how many times we've done it, but it can be especially helpful if you're new to the process. Really think about these kinds of questions. Does your score reflect your overall impression? Have you provided comments to the authors that are helpful and respectful? Are they specific so that the authors know what they should do between now and the time that they present in November? And do your comments to the section chair clearly express your rationale for the score? Do they provide guidance so that the section chair knows why you scored things the way that you did and how they can use that information to help them make their decisions? So once you've reviewed it, then hit submit and get your review in there so that the section chairs can then take the information that you've provided and move on to making the decisions about putting the process to get the program together. So here is a little explanation of what happens once the reviews are completed. So each section chair will receive the information from the reviewers, including all the answers that you gave, the scores, your open-ended answers to those questions. And the first thing that they'll probably do is look at, do you think this came to the right section? They've probably had a chance to very quickly skim just the title and maybe the abstract, but you're the one who has looked through the entire proposal, and so they will be interested in your feedback about whether this is the right section. If not, then they'll need to make sure it gets to another section as quickly as possible. Next, they'll probably look at the average total scores. So each proposal will have at least 3 reviews that are done, and then a mean score is created from those reviews. That mean score will be provided to the section chairs, and it's an important thing to look at what is the mean. However, as a section chair, I also look at what is the range and how consistent are those 3 scores. If I see that the reviewers have been very diverse in the way that they scored the proposal, and maybe there's more than a 10-point difference between one reviewer and another, that signals to me that I need to go in and look at this in a little more detail to see what's going on and why might there be such discrepancy in the scores. However, if they're very consistent, that gives me great confidence that the mean is representing the score that that proposal deserves. The next thing I do is that I read the comments, both to the authors and to me as the chair. That information is extremely helpful as I look at what to include in the proposal and how to put the presentations together. Because the next step is to take the accepted proposals and then put them into sessions. Each section is provided with a proportion of the program that is similar to the proportion of the proposals that came in. So if I, as the chair of education and enrichment, got 30% of the proposals, then I will probably have about 30% of the program. So I'm given a certain number of slots in the program that I can fill. There are slots that I can fill with symposia or papers or lightning paper sessions. There will be so many poster sessions that I will be slotted. Also, I can create poster symposia where I'm putting posters together that all rotate around the same theme or have a common idea, and we will assign a discussant so that that poster session becomes a cooperative venture. There are very few workshop sessions, and so those are very rare and can be very expensive when it comes to time on the program. And I will need to decide, am I going to use a very expensive session for a workshop slot. There are also special section formats that each of the sections is probably already working on, but will continue to work on. And as you can see, this is a very big puzzle that needs to be put together. Once the section chairs have done that, that all gets sent to the NCFR staff. And as you can see at the bottom of this slide, all that needs to be done in just a couple of weeks. So the clearer your information is that you provide to the section chairs, the easier their job is as they're putting together this big puzzle. Chairs depend very heavily on the reviewer-provided scores and comments. One thing to remember again is that if a symposium is not well integrated, please give the chair details about your assessments or concerns. For example, maybe there's just one paper that doesn't seem to fit very well, and the rest of them you think fit well and should be provided a symposium slot. However, you may think that the papers are too disparate and they don't fit well together at all, and your recommendation to the chair may be that these are accepted as separate papers rather than as a symposium. Any suggestions you can give to the section chairs are very helpful. So please make sure that you fill in that open-ended box and give your comments to the section chair about the rationale for the score that you've given and any recommendations you have related to accepting, rejecting, format, or any suggestions or concerns that you have. So final thoughts. I'd like to ask you to lay aside biases as a reviewer. Be open to new ideas. So for example, a bias that someone might have is someone may be very well trained and well versed and really believe in using structural equation modeling, and that's that person's favorite methodology. However, we all know that that does not fit as the best methodology for every project, and maybe a qualitative methodology is a better match for the particular proposal. So try to lay aside your biases, be open. Maybe someone has produced findings that you're not very happy with. Maybe they don't fit your values, or maybe they don't fit research that you've conducted, or they're not consistent with other research that you've read. Be open to that and really look at, is it a bias that's holding you back, or is there truly a problem with the study or the proposal that's being recommended? We also ask you to be rigorous. Please apply high standards and high expectations as a reviewer. We want the NCFR conference to be filled with stimulating, innovative, high-quality presentations. Help us meet that goal by being rigorous in your reviews and really having high standards for what we'd like to see at the conference. The last thing is just a plea to get your reviews in on time. If for any reason you find that you will not be able to meet that March 28th deadline, please contact the section chair as soon as that becomes apparent to you, so that the section chair can reassign any proposals to someone else and we can keep the process moving through as quickly as possible.